just have to take Robert shirt, not work this summer.
There you go.
We are
There you go.
recording, Mr. Chairman.
No, watch that. We won't get into my opinions on crop insurance. 8:59.
See,
Oh,
gotcha.
Who do I got?
That was, it always does a little playback
Is
once.
that- Oh,
That,
okay.
that just
Oh,
tells us
okay.
it's live out on YouTube and I just couldn't exit out of it quick enough is all. Just further proving we are recording and we are on YouTube whenever you are ready. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have 9 o'clock, so at this time I'd like to call to order the Isabel County Criminal Justice County Affairs Committee. First of all, we have an approval of the agenda. Does there need to be anything that added or subtracted from the agenda? None, Mr. Chair. For me. Okay, at this time I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda as presented. We never.
Do we normally approve the agenda?
I
I
don't know,
remember
it's
in this
Tuesday.
meeting.
Yeah, it's been on the
usually-
agenda for a while.
You usually got to approve. it.
Oh,
I don't know. Like I said.
well, I know the approval of agenda is on there, but we've never actually voted on it in
Ah,
the past.
that could be true.
But
You
I can
sure?
vote on
Nope,
it if
nope,
you'd like.
that's fine. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. I've already.
I can't wait to
That's
see how
really
Jessica
important.
addresses that whole thing in a minute.
I will succumb to the advice of my other committee member on this one. Okay, moving on. It'll be that kind of meeting. We'll do a call to the public. Anybody here like to speak to the public? Is there anybody online or?
There's not at this time, Mr.
Is
Chairman.
not, so there will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting to make comments, so. Moving on, we'll hit the first agenda item is consider approving the volunteer agreement between Stevie Lake and Isabel County on behalf of Isabel County Public Defender's Office and authorized support chair to sign. Okay, we have
Good morning.
Good morning.
Public Defender Houseman here today.
So we're, 4 or 5 years into our organization and we're finally at a place where I think we're comfortable to have interns and volunteers into the organization now that we've kind of solidified our processes and everything. And I think we've finally come to that point. And it was always a consideration that we had going back to 2018, 2019 with our original compliance plan was having interns, whether they be social work interns or investigator interns, attorney interns, whatever the case may be. And so I think we're finally to that point where we're actually comfortable with embarking on that process. So we have a candidate from Ferris State, contemplating law school, interested in doing a volunteer internship with us. It's not a paid internship or anything like that. She just wants the experience as she explores the possibility of going to law school. And we're excited to potentially have her come on in.
I know a couple of people from Ferris are looking for internships. Now, is there a limit to that or I know you gotta have an agreement through here, but what is the legal responsibility when they wanna basically volunteer just for work experience or make that they have to have so much work experience before they can go forward or
This must not be.
This isn't
set
through,
up
yeah,
like
this
that
isn't
on
through
the-
Ferris.
on the-
This is,
Oh, this
internship.
isn't-
This is just completely just volunteer.
just
wants to get
all
the
complete,
experience.
it's
Yep,
not for
yep.
credit or.
And we worked with county council to come up with the volunteer intern agreement.
Okay.
Because it's not through the university like we do have through CMU, because we didn't already have that existing and it's not through Ferris State. We went
Completely
with
different.
this
Okay,
volunteer
okay.
agreement.
But as long as we're going with the other one, what is the requirement for like Ferris for interns?
Mm,
I'm just curious because I know there's a couple people looking for that's, they don't want to be paid, but I know we are short staffed and I'm just curious, what is the requirements from the county?
Oh, I
As
think
far
we're
as
open arms and, I mean,
Yeah.
certain departments, like I'm thinking of, I know, Community Development Director Tim Neefor's been really successful with the GIS intern recently. There's gonna be some very serious parameters about what that person needs to be studying and, what
That's
their
why I was
knowledge
wondering
base
what the
is.
county responsibility, I know it's a little bit off here, but I'm just,
Mhm. I think,
Somebody asked me the other day and I wasn't real quite sure on how it's.
I think most of our departments would be very
Open
open
to it.
arms. Yes, for interns. I know admin is.
And it depends on the school too, what they actually require. I think
Right.
DMU's was 300 hours.
Yeah,
Something like that over the summer, because I did that internship. And so I think it just depends on what the school requires too. You know, when we originally had someone reach out to us from CMU, but we weren't actually part of that agreement yet, so we had to actually do a separate
yep.
agreement to add our department into that agreement with CMU.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have a question. It's just that somebody approached me on that and I just was wondering because I know there were people are graduating, they're looking for credits or internships to fulfill their requirements. So
Absolutely. Well, yes, the
Right.
county would, I think, be a great place to get that done.
maybe I'll send them this way. It's just- Okay, I don't have any questions really. It's somebody wants to volunteer and it's just legal. It's a great experience. We'll take all the help.
Is
we
it
can.
a common practice, I guess, for public defenders or prosecuting attorney's office to have a volunteer? Because I know
I
that,
did.
I guess,
I was that volunteer at one point with the Bay County Prosecutor's
Yeah.
Office, so I know I did it. And I think, especially with the advent of MIDC, I think a lot of our partner public defender offices do have interns. They're starting those internship programs. I believe actually MIDC has an exclusive agreement with, I think it's Wayne State for law school interns. But I think, kind of same thing going back to our conversation earlier. I think a lot of them are going to those bigger counties as well. They're going to, Wayne, Kent, things like that.
Are there like non-disclosure agreements then with people? Because since they're designated volunteers, officially not part of the county or your department.
Yeah, they're-
will they be coming across private information?
Yes, potentially, and that would be something we'd have to address, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could potentially be privileged that they would come in contact with, so yeah, there would be, I mean, not necessarily anything formally written, but there would definitely be that discussion.
Okay,
There is a confidentiality clause in the agreement that basically says confidential information they come across will remain confidential. I mean, it's pretty, there's just gotta be that trust, right? And
Exactly.
okay, I must have missed the confidentiality thing in the report. I was just thinking,
No, that's a really good point. I mean, that was a concern we had with another recent volunteer agreement we had on the sheriff's office
Number 4.
project.
number 4.
And it's such a big
Oh.
mix of public
Yeah.
information versus that
Okay.
privileged information.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff we deal with is public
Thank you.
information versus that non-public information.
Must have been, when I'm sitting outside on Sunday going over these,
A little too bright out.
right? Well, thank you. That was,
But I'm not the only one that's doing this today, so just have trouble getting the motor going today.
all right.
You're in good fellowship today.
Well, glad to see getting more help. We'll move on from that. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, I'll accept the motion then.
All right. Move to bring forward the consideration approving the volunteer agreement between Steve Lake and Isabella County on behalf of Isabella County Public Defender's Office, and authorize board to sign on VOCP.
I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion has passed and we'll move that forward to the vote session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Thomas.
Okay, next up, we have actually 2. They're similar, but we'll start with the first one is consider approving the agreement between Isabel County through Isabel County Sheriff's Office. That's mine.
Somebody else.
My garbage. In Wise Township for the dedicated public safety services and authorized board chair to sign the same. And we have myself, the sheriff, here to talk about this. Have we done Wise before?
No.
This is the first time it's Wise.
Yep. So, well, at least in my tenure, Wise Township approached me a little while ago. they're sitting on some funds from some of their business ventures that they've allowed in their township that have restrictions on what they can use their funds for. They have asked that one of the things is security and safety, so they've asked to maybe do originally they wanted to do like a couple hours here, a couple hours there with our work staffing and the way we operate. This wasn't an option, so I presented them what we do, and it's very identical to Lake Isabella. So basically, out of the pay period, it's a couple shifts, 6 to 7 hours. If we don't have staff that's available, we don't sign up, we don't mandate it or anything like that. They were happy with all that, so that'll just give them, we'll sporadically put that out there. So it'll be afternoons, it could be a night shift, it could be a day shift, it could be Tuesday, it could be a Wednesday, it could be whatever. So we'll kind of sporadically put that all over. And that'll help them use up some of those funds, so they're not sitting on large dollar amounts in their coffers that they're supposed to be spending on those type of things. So they were okay with that, and they pretty much flew right through the process, and so here we are.
Well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the next one too, because that one's water patrol and everything, and as long as they're willing to support this, my only question comes a little bit is that, are we gonna get into a situation where people are gonna ask us, are we in a pay to play situation where, that some of the other more rural areas, if they can't afford it, they're gonna have less because they can pay for this or not? I mean,
It's not uncommon for townships to contract the sheriff's offices all through the state of Michigan. This doesn't, we would never take a road patrol position for a day and shift them over there, right? So this is just a voluntary sign up by the deputies. So we would, if no one signs up for it, our normal patrol for the 572 square miles is still in operation. So I don't think that's an issue at all. I mean, it doesn't, obviously it doesn't cost the county at all, but
Right.
It is a voluntary sign up, to provide them some of those resources. But yeah, if you look at other counties across the state, they've done this for decades. It's just, several townships will contract us for some extra coverage, and this is a good way. It's not a 40-hour position. It's not costing them, large amounts of money, but they're getting a little bit of presence and a little more. So I don't feel that would be an issue.
okay, I just look at the perception of it. Yeah, I support it. I understand it'd be extra hours that you normally wouldn't have, so that's always a good thing, but I just.
It is, and it's written in there, if there's if they're out, just outside of that township and there's a critical incident or an accident that's got life safety issues, these deputies will respond to those calls. We just don't build those hours if they're gone for an hour to help go out there and handle that situation. We wouldn't build Wise Township or the Village of Lake Isabella, whatever, but so they're still available for major things. If it was a car deer accident, they're not gonna go, that type of thing. So there is an exit strategy in the agreement. If any party at any point in time decides it's not working, we can exit out pretty easy. We've written in, I think, Mr. Cole had a question here a while back. We do write in fuel costs and things, so that's all kind of covers. So it really doesn't cost us anything, and provides a little more security and safety in the community.
Okay. Just wanted to
I
make
think it
sure.
shows the additional opportunity sheriff is willing to look at when certain sectors of the county show the need, right? Or certain times of year, there is that need. I think it shows he's willing to look at
Right.
that.
Yeah, I just had similar questions. I just want to be prepared.
And I'm sure some of the other townships who maybe don't have the financial capabilities would love to, and
Love
I
to
would
do it.
love to do more for them as well. But
It's a funding. I
I
know.
know where the funding's at.
I know. I just
Yeah.
wanted to
We
put
would
that out
never,
there in case that question came up.
yeah, we will never short the road patrol general normal shift road patrol for any of these special assignments. So that we'd never say, okay, hey, we haven't been there in 2 pay periods, so we're gonna pull somebody off the road to go set up there. That's would never happen. So.
Okay.
And right now with the staffing levels, it can't.
Okay, like I said, that was basically my only question. It's not that I'm against, I just want to be,
No,
understand there should be some people that might,
ask.
I've had similar questions at other times. So,
So. We would love to do a lot more, but just the
All right.
restrictions exist, so.
Yeah. no further questions, so I'll make a motion. Move to bring forward the consideration of approving the agreement between Isabella County by and through the Isabella County Sheriff's Office and Wise Township for dedicated public services to the BOC meeting.
And I will support that. Any more discussion?
Just one thing I did, sorry, I should have mentioned. We did not have corporate attorneys look at that contract, but it's verbatim of the one they did look at for visually, the Village of Lake Isabella. So
I see that.
they already approved it one way. I just changed Lake Isabella to Wise Township.
It's pretty. Yeah. They like.
Thanks for saving us those.
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly. There was no reason to run that past them again. It's the same. They wrote it originally, so.
Okay, any more discussion? We will vote then. All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, say, the motion's passed, and we'll move that forward to the work session. And next up, we have a very similar item. It's consider approving the agreement between Isabella County by and through Isabella County Sheriff Office and the Village of Lake Isabella effective June 1st, 2023 till September 6th, 2023 for Marine Patrol Service. Authorized board chair to sign the same. Now, this one we have seen for a while, and so it's nothing new, and we've always approved it. So besides the changes to the wages and the dates, it's pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same thing. The only thing different this year with our Marine Patrol, not only for the Village of Lake Isabella, which is a private lake, we are our school resource officer, who's under the special deputy clause in the contract. Of course, is out of school now, so he's going to be running some of those Marine hours. Last year, again, because of staffing and the amount of overtime trying to cover the road patrols and the shifts, we weren't able to use all those Marine dollars, and those are grant dollars from the state of Michigan. So anything that the state of Michigan grants you, they monitor, and if you don't use it, they typically don't give it to you again. So we were fortunate and kept them up the same amount this year, but that won't be the case if we can't use that. So we're going to utilize him in some of those hours to help make sure we're getting on the waterways. We're using those funds. And we had some struggles even these few days for Lake Isabella. So he will make sure that we get that. We're still going to open it up to some of our road patrol. When he's not available, we have him going to cover up some areas in the jail that were kind of at critical staffing all of a sudden with 2 more resignations last week. So he's going to help us out there a little bit and a few other little projects. So, but we should be able to use this stuff this year.
Go ahead.
All right, make a motion to move to consider bringing forward the consideration approving agreement between Isabella County by and through Isabella County Sheriff's Office and the Village of Lake Isabella effective June 1st, 2023 until September 6th, 2023 for Marine Patrol Services to the BOC.
And I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion has passed. We'll move that forward. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thanks, sir.
Make it rain.
Yeah. Try everything, right? I mean, I just looked at it. It doesn't look very good, does it?
No, not for a whole week. So.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Yeah,
There you go. Well, one thing about Michigan, the weather will change in 24 hours, so you can keep your fingers crossed. Okay, we have one more
Unless you
item.
wanted to. It'll change unless you wanted to change.
Yeah, well, I never said it was gonna change for the better, but we could still have high winds and tornadoes with this hot, cold changing.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at the end of May, we had the high wind that took off, and took off barns and everything. That was like the last weekend of May.
It was, yeah, it was right around Memorial Day,
Yeah.
yeah, 98,
You know,
98?
we were milking cows. And our parlor in the barn was appeared that wall away and hit the barn. It was like went black and cattle were in there. It's like sounded like a tree falling. That was a scary time.
I bet it was.
Sounded like a train going through there. Anyways. We'll
Not
talk about the
today.
good times, yeah. Last item up, consider converting one of the Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney Office legal secretary positions currently at a non-union employee wage scale pay grade 8 to a family support coordinator position in a non-union employee wage scale, pay grade 9, effective immediately. Hi.
Good morning.
Morning, let me see. In here.
You just want me to jump in?
Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah.
All right. So currently the prosecutor's office has 4 legal secretary positions, all at the same pay grade. What we call the child support position handles the 4D child support requirements. Also helps with abuse and neglect, mental petitions and juvenile. And over about the last 5 years, a lot of the requirements for child support, the state requires a lot more stuff that we have to do and keep track of, as well as just the increase in the juvenile with a change a few years ago where they added up to 18, used to be 17, now that's up to 18 is still considered a juvenile. It's increased the workload there, and so we just that position is just doing a lot more things. And we have found, we've had 3 people in the last 4.5 years, and all of them have indicated that they just thought it was a lot of work, a lot more work than their counterparts to handle, and doing different things like collecting DNA. I know it states that in the report. So basically what we're looking to do is to change that position away from the legal secretary. We currently call it family support coordinator, just as a different title, but to make it that title, to raise it up to a level 9, 1 level up. And hopefully be able to then retain somebody to stay in that position for a little bit longer and have a few more qualifications.
So Dorothy, just so I understand, has it been one of the legal secretaries doing that work then? Or,
Yes,
okay, so you're saying 4 legal secretaries now, 3 legal secretaries plus a family support worker.
correct. So the other 3 handle all the criminal work, and it's dispersed alphabetically by the defendant's last name. They handle everything from the initial warrant to all whatever that case entails. If it's in district or circuit court, they handle everything with those defendant names. So with the child support, doing everything with child support, and that also includes MICES training. So doing the same things that a caseworker would do at front of the court. And adding into that juvenile petitions, which run through probate court. And then also we handle mental petitions and abuse and neglect. So they handle more things on the probate side versus the criminal side in the court. So they're operating a little, a different realm of things than the other legal secretaries.
And that's just because the duties required it to go to someone who kind of specialized in that. But we still were paying them under that legal secretary job description.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I think that Jessica has already mentioned to you, but one of the things we will have to have is a job description for this
Yes.
new position then of family support coordinator, because we want to see what raises it up, right? That 1 level beyond the legal secretaries. What are those duties that would
Additional
cause that
right.
additional knowledge, skill, or ability?
Correct.
We'll want to make sure that we get that from you before.
Yes.
Packets go out.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we can get that going.
Perfect.
I mean, we can have it together, but haven't put it in that polished version yet. So to
Understood.
make it.
Thank you for that distinction. Thank you.
Now, has it changed or not, but the state still pays for child support coming in, it actually brings money in, or they change that form?
No, so we are under contract with the state, just this, as we have been. And so we have to track those hours and report that back to the state. Yep. So they still compensate for that. We used to, I think the pretext was that between that contract and the money from abuse and neglect, it helped to cover the wages for that position. Being a little, I think when they initially probably set it up, or I know
Yeah.
it's been around for a long time.
It's been around, so
Right.
I don't know. They change things so often, but I know it's probably behind, but is that part of the position that is, this will help get that caught up.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So one of the things was that we saw a reduction in what we were receiving in our contract. Part of that, it was attorney work and just reduced time. Because the people that we had, trying to get them trained up for that. MICES is a complicated thing and it takes a little bit of time and,
Changed the software not too long ago too.
yeah, well, and they're trying to make it
Yeah.
look more, it's very old. It's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
old software. And there's things on there you think, oh, we need to do this and there's a button, but if we hit that button, it doesn't do anything, and there's a lot of training with that.
Oh, got a seat over there.
Yeah, come on up.
So,
Oh, man, you
Um,
should have stayed another 10 minutes. We haven't got to the top questions yet.
Ah.
um,
Good morning.
and we also have the same thing, abuse and neglect is also a contract. So that also runs, and time has to be reported. And then we get reimbursed on that. They're both kind of a reimbursement type contract. We pay it, but then they reimburse us for those things. So, and then with that, it's attorney and support staff that we can use time to do that on. And so trying to get back where we are, recouping more that more than we have been on those contracts as well. And that part of that's just having somebody in the position that's, knowing what they can do, doing it well, getting trained. And we'd like to see some longevity there. It's not easy. It's more complicated than I would say some of our other things that we have to deal with.
We've had Prosecutor Barbary just joined us, so welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Probably, this is gonna be a broken record, but you guys have been understaffed. If that's what you need to do, I said, I'll see it's a problem. Where I see maybe it'd be a problem is when you're fully staffed, if that ever happens, and then you'll be over budget, but knowing that you're shorthanded and this is what you need to do to get. Yeah, I've always promoted that the department heads should have a little more say in how they structure their departments, but I know you've been shorthanded and this will help get things straightened up. They know you've been short, so it's under budget. Like I said, when our problem is when everybody's fully funded, if that ever happens, then there'll be budgetary issues on it because we're gonna be kind of screwed out. But as long as your office needs what it needs, so I don't have a problem with it, but
Yeah, and I don't know, I apologize. I'm not sure what Dorothy's already filled in on our request, but part of the issue is that, we've struggled to find somebody that has any background in that role. Obviously Penny has done this before. You've got some awareness of what that position entails. And we've changed things a little bit, and now we've got a certification requirement to do DNA testing. They're handling a lot of meetings with the public. But it's, the parallel, and it's not a 1-for-1, obviously, but a friend of a court officer is a 10. The legal secretary that's doing, a bulk of that similar work, not the same by any means, but work of a similar nature is at an 8. And so I think a 9 is appropriate considering it's not an FOC caseworker. It's not that involved. It's not that there's not that level of legal acumen that's necessary to do the position. But they are doing a lot more for us than they had traditionally been, I think, because we're trying to defray some of the legal work onto that role.
like I said, I know you guys have been shorthanded and everything, and I don't ever want you not to get the job done, but like some of that stuff brings, I know when it gets behind, you're actually bringing money back in, and I don't want
That's
to make it
right.
about a profit deal, but then it needs to be done, and it's, like I said, it's.
Money back in means more services too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just don't want to let that get way behind it. Like I said, I think you need to have more authority to run your departments in budget, so that's all. But I think I've said that before, so I don't think it's any change with this. I said you've been shorthanded, and I said if it helps get you up to efficiency a little bit, I don't have any problem with it, so. As long as it
I'm gonna
meets-
go on my little, minute and a half thing with the administration here, that I like to see this. I'm happy to see this. This is house maintenance. This is a position has been noted as having more work. What we need to do is do the process of writing it up differently and appropriately paying it. And that this is, the way we, keep the house moving and supporting the community. We're gonna keep people here if we do more of this and our departments, assess their positions, not just say, oh, that person's got a lot of work, but actually, regularly, assessing and writing up new work descriptions. I know writing up work descriptions, I've done it.
It's not fun. but
Not, it
necessary.
seems like it's a waste of time, but it's not. It's important to keep those things up to date. And I think that, our employees recognize the value of that. Obviously, they'll recognize it if they're assessed they're a different grade, created. So I guess back to the beginning, thank you,
Mhm.
for house maintenance and moving forward on this. So yeah, I have no questions.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either.
Okay.
Any more questions? There we go.
Thanks. All right, make a motion. I move to consider converting one of the Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney Office Legal Secretary positions currently at a non-union employee wage scale pay grade 8 to a family support coordinator position at a non-union employee wage scale pay grade 9 to the BOC meeting.
Okay, I will support that discussion. One thing that the job description is
Yep, that'll need,
coordinated.
yep, that'll need to come to us just by Friday morning, so it can get in the packets
Okay.
for the board to consider for the Tuesday meeting.
So that'll. So that's
That-
it. That's all.
Adding that certification requirement you mentioned will be a good thing in there too. Any of those specific duties that require more knowledge, skill, and ability will be perfect.
Okay.
Sounds like you got a good handle on it.
Okay, that's only really discussion I had on that. So any more? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. The motion has passed and we'll move that forward to the work session. Thank you. It's you.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Okay, we're up to announcements. Any announcements? Seeing none, we'll do one last call to the public. Is there any public that would like to comment? Any of you guys want to comment? as a public?
No.
Okay, good enough. Anybody on the phone or online? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the call to the public, and at this time, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.